Welcome back. This is such a great adventure. Come on, let's get back to the story. Two dairy mice that were sniffing around nearby lifted their heads to look at Lainey. Not bad, said Fawn. Naughty. Now let's hear you call the chickadee. She pointed to a plump little bird sitting on a branch. But I don't know, chickadee, Lainey protested. It's easy, said Fawn. Just go like this. Pursing her lips, Fawn let out a whistle that sounded like this. Tweedledum, Tweedledee. You try, Lainey. Easy, said Fawn. Just go like this. Pursing her lips, Fawn let out a whistle that sounded like this. Tweedledum, Tweedledee. You try now, Lainey. Lainey did her best to copy Fawn. She pursed her lips and whistled, but all that came out was a sad whoop. To her surprise, the chickadee flew over and landed on her finger. How did I do that? Lainey asked. Then she noticed Fawn laughing. Wait a second. You called him over, didn't you? So what if I did? Fawn said with an impish grin. He wouldn't have come if he didn't want to. Animals like you, Lainey. I said you're becoming a real animal talent, Clumsy. Lainey blushed. Fawn pulled a sunflower seed from her pocket. She held it out to the chickadee, who took it in his beak and flew away. Well, I'm hungry, Fawn said. Want to see what the baking talent fairies have whipped up today? Lainey shook her head. I'm going to go find the other girls. See you later. Sure, said Fawn. I think there's a nest of robin eggs that need a hand with hatching. Maybe you can help me. With a wave, she flew off. Lainey started across the meadow, with her spirits high. Fawn's compliment still rang in her ears. A real animal talent, Clumsy. Lainey couldn't help smiling every time she thought about it. Maybe it's true, Lainey thought. Maybe I really do have an animal talent. Before coming to Pixie Hollow, Lainey had never felt particularly special. She wasn't beautiful like her other friends like Mia, or brave like her friend Kate. She wasn't good at sports, and she didn't get the best grades in school. In fact, Lainey hadn't been sure she was good at anything at all. But that had changed when she'd start spending time with the animal talent fairies. Lainey was learning how to listen to animals and how to watch them. And a rustling noise above her made Lainey look up. She paused to watch a flock of flamingos pass. She loved seeing the pale pink birds against the brilliant blue of the sky. The flamingos had been one of the very first creatures she'd seen in Neverland, and she's never tired of watching them. Lainey continued across the meadow and made her way to Haven Dish Stream. There she found Kate, Mia, and Gabby, her friends who had came to Neverland with her. They were sailing boats with the water talent fairies. Tiny fairies in red, gold, and green leaf boats drifted around into their sails. There, the freckled, curly-haired fairy named Prilla was the reason the girls had come to Neverland. She had a talent unlike any other in Pixie Hollow. She could travel to the world of humans and back again just by blinking. One day she traveled to Mia and Gabby's backyard and accidentally brought the 4 girls back to Pixie Hollow with her. Prilla had discovered that she couldn't blink the girls back home, so the fairies of Pixie Hollow had taken them in. That had been days ago, or was it weeks? Lainey wasn't sure. Time passed strangely in Neverland, where every day was sunny and no one ever grew up or grew old. "Hi, Lainey," Mia said. "Where have you been?" "I was riding in the woods with Fawn," Lainey said. Kate did, brushing off the knees of her jeans. We're thinking about going to Skull Rock just to see what it's like," she told Lainey. Kate had made it her mission to explore every corner of Neverland. Prilla says we might see a mermaid there. Gabby chimed in excitedly. Gabby was only 5, but she was every bit as adventurous as the other girls. "We're not going for long," Mia added. "There's a fairy dance tonight, and I want to make sure we're back in time. The weaving talent fairies are going to braid jasmine into my hair." "Want to come?" Kate asked Lainey. Lainey hesitated. She wanted to go with her friends, but she also wanted to watch chicks hashing with Fawn. There were so many fun things happening in Neverland. Sometimes it was hard to decide what to do first. Just then, they spotted a fairy flying towards them. As she came closer, the girls saw it was Sky. The fairy's rose petal cap was crooked on her head, and she seemed to be out of breath. "I've been looking all over for you girls," she said with a gasp. "It's time. Time for what?" asked Kate. "Neverland is on the move again," Sky replied. The girls looked at each other in dismay. They knew what that meant. It was time for them to go home. It's chapter 2! I'm so excited to see what's going to happen next. I'm going to tell you who are our characters in chapter 1. So, our first important and main character is Lainey, because she was the first one that speaks in chapter 1. And then our second important character in chapter 1 was Fawn, because he encouraged Lainey on how to love animals. And then our third important character is the animal talent clumsy fairy. And then that's 3 main important characters. I'm also gonna tell you how Fawn encouraged Lainey. So it said in the page that you can do it, Lainey, if you just believe in yourself. That's what I would say, but that's not exactly what Fawn said. But I would say, Lainey, you can do this. All you have to do is believe in yourself, that you can be and love animals. What I really feel like chapter 1 was about is that Lainey didn't feel like she could do anything, but she actually think Fawn inspired her that she could be a talent clumsy fairy, an animal talent clumsy fairy. And then I also think that they're about to go home because it says that Sky because Neverland was on the move again. So when it tells me that, that means they're going to be home, and it also says they looked at each other in dismay. Then they knew what that meant. It was time for them to go home. So they had a very good time in Neverland. So that's what I thought on chapter 2. It mostly talked about how Lainey didn't believe in herself.